everybody, welcome to a Cricut craft tutorial. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon because I put out new videos all the time and we're going to do so much this year for Christmas. Today we're going to learn how to make this really fun paper Christmas ball. Now this one is very large. I'm making it bigger so that you guys can see it easier on the screen, but you can also make them this large if you like them on your Christmas tree bigger, but if you like them smaller, you can easily do these in any size, and you can actually make them giant as well if you wanted to use them bigger. So let's go over to Design Space because I'm going to show you how to easily make the little circles that you need. I'm going to show you guys how to make the circles and the score lines for the round ball Christmas ornament. It's really easy, super fun. So all we're going to do is open shapes, and we're going to get a circle, and I'm going to make it kind of big just so we can see it better, but we'll resize it down in just a minute. We're going to use a triangle for our score lines. So open up a triangle, and what you want to do is line it up, and I'm just sort of moving it a little bit right now, but what you're going to do is line it up so it's centered on your circle and that it touches each of the edges of your circle. And it's centered so that it makes it so it's going to have fold lines here, here, and here. What we're going to do before we do anything else is go to our triangle in the layers panel and click on it, which is all on the right hand side. And up here where you see you can change it to score, click on score. And it's going to look like your lines go away. They're harder to see, but they are still there. I'm going to go ahead and select the whole thing and attach it. If you don't attach it, your score lines will be on a separate paper when you go to make it. So let's go ahead and size it down, and we're going to make them pretty small. I usually do about a little over 2 inches, like usually 2 1/4-ish. And what we're going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. We need 10 of each color. So I find an easy way to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So what I'll do is I usually duplicate it once, and then I duplicate it again. And you'll see it's going to put a bunch of them out there. So we'll just move the second set of them over. We need these in 2 different colors on 2 different mats. So a lot of times what I find easy to do is I just attach the whole thing. And I choose one of them and I just change them to red. And that makes them all red. And then you come back through and you detach them. Because if you don't detach them after you've changed their color, they're going to try to cut on top of each other, and we don't want that. And you can just leave these ones gray because they're going to be green, so it won't really matter. So we're going to click Make It, and you'll have 2 separate sheets. So you're going to have one sheet for your green, which is gray, and one sheet for your red. So I'm going to show you guys because this is going to be done on the Maker, and I don't have a scoring wheel, so it's important that you know how to do this without a scoring wheel. Click Continue, like you're going to go make it, and it's going to find our Cricut device. And you're going to set your material. This is like a medium-ish cardstock, but I found it cuts really well on light cardstock. It's just the cardstock packs from Michael's that go on sale. But we need to edit our tools because we're not using our scoring wheel. So click Edit Tools and click Scoring Stylus. And then click Continue. Simple as that. Now, I have no idea. I just got this, and for some reason on mine, this hasn't lit up at all. But it's lighting up on the machine, so it's very weird. But I'm going to take you over to the machine so you guys can see it scoring and cutting. I loaded my scoring tool. Now this is a little bit different than in the Explorer series. In the Explorer you don't have to press it down, but in the Maker you do need to press that down. So I've loaded red paper first. It does not matter which paper you load first on this, just so long as you load 2 different colors. So we're going to load this one first, and you'll see, and I'm going to pull this back a little bit because it's going to hit the wall. It's going to pull the paper all the way in and then push it back out. And then what it'll do is it's going to score all of my triangles first. And that's going to be a little bit hard to see, but it's going to go ahead and score everything first, and then it's going to come back through and cut. But before it cuts, what it does is it goes over here, and there's a little dimple in the machine, and it actually somehow detects your material. I have no idea how. It's very fancy. For me, I just start, literally this is the first actual project I'm making on this, so you guys are seeing this. I did do a test cut just to make sure I knew how to do it before I showed you, but this is our test cut, and I'll show you guys how to fold it and everything. But I'm going to let this finish cutting and scoring. I want you guys to see it cut really quick before we go ahead and let it cut by itself without making you guys watch it, but I do want you guys to see that it's going to go over to the side and sort of read what kind of material we have. It's really a neat machine. I'm looking forward to getting some of the other things like the knife tool and things like that. So here it goes over to the side, and you can't see it, but it drops the blade down a little bit. It's very weird. I don't know. I'm excited to learn a little bit more about this as we go. So now all it's going to do is cut out our circles. So I'm going to let this go ahead and cut. We're going to get the green cut, and then I'll show you guys how we can fold everything and assemble. So we're ready to fold, and I'm not sure if you guys can totally see this, but there are score lines on here. If you look real close, you can see them. So this makes this super easy. All you do is just fold each score line in to the center of your circle. So you kind of end up with like a triangle, and then you just leave it open. I pre-folded all the red ones, but we'll do the green ones, and you guys can see how quick this is. And this is such a fun project. You can you can do these with like your kids. All you have to do, if your kids know how to use your Cricut, it's really easy. If not, you can let them pick out their paper, and they can even fold them, because you see how easy this is. You don't really need to think too much about how you fold them because it's already built in. But you can let them choose their papers and then fold them, and then you can help them glue them together, because I do recommend using hot melt glue with this project. The Elmer's doesn't really dry fast enough, and the glue sticks, they don't hold hard enough. They're just not as strong bound as you need for something like this. But these are just really fun, really easy to do projects, and kids love them, and it's so fun for them to get to pick out their colors, and then you can hang them on your Christmas tree. So what we're going to do to assemble, it's very, very easy. You're going to do every other, and what you're going to do is put them so that they're opposite, if that makes a whole lot of sense. So if you have a tip up here, you're going to have a tip down there. And I pre-lay mine out just so that when I am gluing them, I kind of know where to go. And you're going to do this with 10 of them. So you're going to need 5 of each color. So we're just probably going to run out of room. This Cricut gets in the way a little bit. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So then we have 8. And then we have 9, and finally we have 10. So I lay them out before I do anything else with them. That way, I'm going to move you guys back just a little bit so you can see the line. That way, as I'm gluing them together, I can keep track of where I'm at and how many I have. So all we do, so let me get this glue blob off of here, is all we do is we take our little thing, and on the side here, right here, you just go like this, put just a little bit of glue. It doesn't take a lot, just a little. And my glue gun's not super warm right now, so it might take a second. And all you do is just line them up and glue them together like this. Simple as that. So when we glue the second one, it's going to go on this side. So you're just going to do them on like opposite sides, I would call it. Not really sure if that's exactly what it's really considered, since they're circular and triangular, but that's how we do it. So we're just going to, again, glue it, line it up, and if it doesn't line up perfectly, don't fret, it's fine. It won't be the end of the world. And then we're going to do the red one on this one right here. And you're just going to do that for all 10 of these. So, and again, you just line it up. I'm sorry, my lighting is not that great tonight for some reason. It's a little bit dark up here. And we are going to just glue and glue. And sometimes with these, I confuse myself sometimes. So I'll need to look at them again, because if I glue it that way, it looks weird, but it's right. It's just, sometimes they're a little bit confusing. But once you start doing them, you get the hang of it. It's really not bad. And then we just are going to line them up. And sometimes if you do it on the table, you can line them up a little bit easier too. It just depends on how you want to do it and what works for you. Once I get a good line going, I do tend to put them on the table. I just find it to work a little bit better for me. And you can see we're starting to get a line. We've only got 3 more to glue, so let's go ahead and get them glued. And then I'm going to show you guys how we're going to turn them into a round piece, or a cylinder, if you will. So then we're going to take this guy. And this can be done for pretty much any holiday, which is nice. this one I just chose to do it like a Christmas ornament because we're going to go ahead and put it on our Christmas tree. And these are great, especially with cats, because if a cat takes this, not the end of the world. They're not going to break it. It won't be a big deal if it does break because you can always just glue it back together. So we have our 10, and I always like just to double count. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green. So what you do is you take your whole thing and you match up these two sides. So see how you have now a ring? So we're just going to glue the two ends together. So you're going to glue the first one to the last one. Now, I used to do these when I was younger, and I find the Cricut makes this like a billion times easier. So now all we're going to do is let that dry, put that to the side, and get out your others. Now, you're going to need 3 of one color and 2 of another for each of these. And you're going to do them like this. So they're going to create a ring. I don't know how else to, like a pizza pie. There you go, like kind of like a pie. So we're going to make a pie. So I always like to sort of lay them out, figure out how I want them done. You know, sometimes if you have extra pieces from like another project and you want to throw them in here, that's fine, because you're going to have 2 that touch, and if you're crazy like me, it drives me crazy, but that's just how these are put together, so it is what it is. So sometimes you just have to deal with the fact that 2 of them will touch, and it's fine. But you just want to make sure that each one is point to point, instead of where they were kind of laid out in a line. These ones are going to be laid out in a circle. So we're just going to do this, slide him in, and then for your last one, you're going to have to glue on both sides. So what I will do is I usually will lay them like kind of like those cootie catchers. I lay them down, and I only glue one side at a time because I don't want to accidentally like slide on one of the sides and mess it up. So I glue one side, and I'll let that dry a little bit, and then I will glue this other side. So what I do is I just put a little bit of glue here, and I just carefully slide them together. So there you have like a domey top. So we'll do that real quick to this one. The first one you do can get a little bit confusing, especially if you overthink it. But if you just kind of go with it and just glue them together and just don't overthink it, you'll get there no problem. But you just glue it and glue a green one. And sometimes I like to do my tops in totally different colors because, I don't know, sometimes I just think that's fun. I like to be a little bit creative, and so sometimes I'll do the tops in like one single color and to just make it a little bit more fun. And, oops, that guy's going to be all funky. Oh, I'm struggling. That guy got a little off-centered. And then all you do, again, last one, we're just going to glue this piece to the other piece. That's some hot glue now. The glue is definitely warmed up now. And sometimes this last one I struggle a little bit just trying to get them lined up, but again, if it doesn't, it's not perfect. It's not really the end of the world. So get your ring, which is the first thing that we made, and you're just gonna, and what I like to do is, like, if I do them this way, I try to put the one that has more, like, of the opposite color on the same, you know, the side of the opposite. So what I do on this one is I'll just go one at a time. So I'm just gonna glue this one, and then you match it up with one of these. Just like tabs, you just match up the tabs. Try to get them pretty evenly spaced and let it dry a little bit before you move on, because you do have to manipulate this a bit in order to get everything to stick. Now you can make these smaller. This one's pretty big. I did it larger because I wanted you guys to be able to really see it on the screen. And I do find if I make these things like way small like I normally do, because I'll use these on like our mini tree and stuff, you can't really see what I'm doing, so I do try to make these kind of big. And these actually make really great cat toys, if anyone's wondering, because I've made a few of them just as testing some papers and things. These are good for paper testing. A lot of times I'll use them for that. But they do make really good cat toys. My cats love them. They go crazy for playing with them. So now we're down to the last 2, and sometimes you may need to fold a little bit more and like help them, but that's okay. You can do that, and just watch your fingers. The hot melt glue does get warm, and you can feel it through the paper. So just be careful. So that's why I say if you're doing this with kids, maybe you do the gluing, or if you're gonna use, you know, the Elmer's glue, just you're gonna have to wait a while for it to dry, as just a warning for you. But the hot melt glue really holds these a lot better. And you may need to come through and occasionally find like a little spot where you're gonna have to glue a little bit more, but I think this one's actually sticking together pretty well. So we're going to do the same thing on this one. And all we're going to do is just match them up again. And again, like I said, I like to do the one that has like the more green against the red side and the one that has the more red against the green side, but that's just me. I'm a little nuts when it comes to these types of things, and I love Christmas and I love Christmas decorations, so these are like some of my favorites. Do you guys have favorite ornaments to make? Do you guys purchase a new ornament for the family tree every year? What do you guys like to do? I always like hearing about everyone else's traditions. We used to purchase a new ornament each year. My brother and I would get to choose a new one. And then my mom, when we moved out and bought our own homes, she gave us our boxes full of ornaments. And it was really nice because we were already set with ornaments for a Christmas tree. And they were ornaments that held a lot of special meaning to us. So we really did enjoy that. And now my husband and I, each year that we've been together since we started dating, we get one of those personalized ornaments and we make sure to put the year on it. So that's been a lot of fun for us. We really enjoy that kind of stuff too, which is nice. Now this last one is usually a bit more of a struggle, especially if you missed lining it up. Like this one I can tell is not lined up completely correct, but again, these are going to be on your Christmas tree. Nobody's going to notice if it's not 100% perfect, but you can slide it around a little bit and make it at least fit a little bit better. And then you're just going to pull off all of your little spider webs. And there you go, guys. This is so easy, and all that you do is just take a hole punch, and you can simply punch a hole, or you can glue a piece of string or yarn onto these and just hang them on your Christmas tree. And these are, like I said, these are great. They're not breakable. You can make new ones every year. If the kids want to draw on the circles and then you glue them together, whatever you guys want to do, be as creative as you want. But this is such a fun, easy Christmas ornament. They make great gifts for grandparents and things like that who like to treasure their grandkids' artwork and things like that. If you guys have any questions, please let me know down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. If you're looking for any specific tutorials, please let me know that also in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to my channel because I put out new videos all the time. And hit the bell icon because that will alert you to when I post a new video. Happy crafting. Have a great day.